We see the billboards. We hear the campaigns. It's okay to not be okay. These messages are everywhere now, encouraging us to talk about our feelings and seek help. This is a huge step forward. Mental health is finally being treated with the seriousness it deserves. But look closer, and you'll see a troubling gap. While the conversation has grown louder, men remain largely silent. The campaigns and services often miss men and their unique struggles. We've built a system that asks for emotional vulnerability, a language many men were never taught. Men are left on the sidelines, watching a game they don't know how to play. This isn't a criticism of progress, but a call to look deeper at who's being left behind. The one-size-fits-all approach assumes everyone experiences pain the same way. That's simply not true. Men aren't just being stubborn when they avoid therapy. They're responding to a system that doesn't understand or speak to them. The failure isn't in men, but in a system that hasn't learned to meet them where they are. The consequences are devastating. We're witnessing a silent crisis among boys and men, struggling with depression, anxiety, and purposelessness, yet least likely to seek help. This leads to preventable loss, broken families, and communities. To truly address the crisis, we must move beyond general awareness. We need a new, more specific conversation. Why are our mental health services failing men, and what must we do to change it? The answer is critical to saving the lives of our sons, brothers, partners, and fathers. It's time to ask the hard questions. The future of men's mental health depends on it. The data is clear and alarming. Men die by suicide at a rate 3 to 4 times higher than women in the US and many Western countries. For every woman who takes her own life, 3 or 4 men do the same. This is a public health crisis. Yet, men are far less likely to seek professional help for mental health issues. Studies show women are about 50% more likely to have received mental health treatment in the past year. Men with depression, anxiety, or substance use disorders rarely see a therapist. The group most at risk is the least likely to access help. This pattern starts early. Boys' distress is often labeled as behavioral problems, not emotional pain. They're seen as bad boys, needing discipline, not support. This mislabeling teaches boys their pain isn't valid, making it harder to recognize suffering later in life. The numbers paint a grim picture. Men are dying in alarming numbers but not showing up for help. This isn't about pride or stubbornness. If it were, we'd have solved it with man-up campaigns. The reality is more complex, a systemic failure. We're offering solutions that don't fit the problem, and the tragic results are measured in lives lost. We must listen to what the data is telling us. It's time to reevaluate our entire strategy. Mental health services often misunderstand how men express pain. Clinical definitions of depression focus on symptoms more common in women: sadness, crying, worthlessness. For men, pain often shows up as anger, irritability, or reckless behavior. Society misreads these signs. A man's anger is seen as a problem, not a symptom. He might be sent to anger management, not treated for depression. Many men withdraw and isolate, burying themselves in work or solitary activities. This cave instinct is self-preservation, but it deepens the problem. Depression thrives in silence and solitude. The system is set up for those who say, "I feel sad and need to talk," not for those whose actions scream, "I'm in pain." We must broaden our definition of distress and train everyone to recognize when a man's anger or withdrawal is a desperate signal for help. Until we do, we'll keep missing the men who need us most. Talk therapy is the gold standard for mental health care. An hour in a room discussing feelings. For many, this is healing. But for men, it can feel foreign and uncomfortable. Boys are taught to solve problems through action, not words. Sitting and talking about feelings can feel unproductive or even emasculating. The typical therapy setting, quiet, introspective, can feel stifling for men who process stress physically. Many men feel put on the spot, judged for not having the right words. The process can feel like failure before it begins, reinforcing the idea that therapy The challenge starts in childhood. Boys are taught, be tough, don't cry, handle your own problems. Vulnerability is equated with weakness. This relentless conditioning comes from all directions: parents, peers, coaches, media. It creates the man box, a rigid set of expectations: strong, stoic, self-reliant. Outside the box, you risk shame and ridicule. Sadness becomes fatigue. Fear becomes anger. Desperation becomes a bad mood. When a man faces a mental health crisis, he lacks the tools to deal with it. His identity is built on being the rock, the provider, the problem solver, not the one who needs help. Admitting he needs help can feel like a betrayal of everything he's been taught. The internal conflict is immense. The pain is real, but the shame of admitting it feels even greater. We're not just asking men to make a phone call, we're asking them to defy a lifetime of conditioning. For many, it feels like dismantling their own identity. The problem isn't unwillingness. It's that the price of admitting vulnerability, feels impossibly high. Understanding this deep-seated conditioning is essential. We must change the narrative around masculinity and help men see that strength includes seeking help. Only then can we break the cycle. The future depends on it. The language of therapy, process your feelings, sit with your sadness, can sound abstract and alienating to many men. Men often want concrete solutions, not emotional exploration. This creates a communication gap. The therapist speaks in feelings. The man listens for action. He wants a game plan, not a discussion about the color of his pain. Labeling his struggle as a mental health issue can feel dismissive of real-world problems. Men see their issues as practical job loss, marriage trouble, lack of purpose. To bridge the gap, therapy must use more active, goal-oriented language. "Let's build a plan together" resonates more than "let's explore your sadness." By changing our words, we make support more accessible and effective for men. Stigma isn't the only reason men avoid help. Many don't recognize their symptoms as mental health issues. Chronic irritability, insomnia, aches, or drinking are seen as stress, not depression. Men are taught to push through pain, so emotional distress often shows up as physical symptoms: headaches, stomach problems, back pain. The healthcare system often misses this connection. Men normalize high stress and dysfunction, seeing it as the price of being a man. Only a crisis, a DUI, divorce, breakdown, forces recognition. We need better education for men on the less obvious signs of distress, so they know when to seek help. To understand the system's failure, listen to men who've tried it.
I needed a plan, not a deep dive into my childhood. My house was on fire and she asked about the curtains.
Mark's story shows the mismatch between immediate needs and therapy's long-term focus.
I'm not good at talking about myself. The silence was unbearable. I needed exercises, not just questions.
David's discomfort highlights how unstructured therapy can be tough for men who aren't naturally verbal. My therapist was half my age, using clinical jargon. I needed someone who understood my world. Tom's frustration points to the need for cultural competency and shared experience. These stories aren't rare, they're common. Men want a coach, a strategist, someone who offers direction. Too often, they find a passive listener. These negative experiences get shared, reinforcing the idea that therapy doesn't work for men. The system fails not just individuals, but entire communities. We must do better. If the current system isn't working for men, we must build a new one. Blaming men for not engaging is cruel. The solution is to innovate. Move beyond talk therapy. Embrace action, purpose, and practical support. Activity-based programs, workshops, hiking, sports, let men connect naturally, shoulder to shoulder, not face to face. Organizations like Men's Sheds show this model works.
Purpose is crucial. Men need a mission, mentorship, skills training, meaningful work.
Support should help men reconnect with their drive to contribute and have impact. Meet men where they are. Integrate support into male spaces. Train barbers and coaches. Create practical online resources. Offer anonymous, text-based support for those not ready to talk. The future isn't about forcing men into a box. It's about building a toolkit of options. Our responsibility is to build a system worthy of men's trust. The lives of millions depend on it. Let's get to work.